game on the line. You can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
There's a lot of you don't know about the fantasy headlines. Nation. Headliner Nation. Fantasy headlines for the nation. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yo. Analytics off the chain. All the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.
Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? It is a beautiful, I gotta turn this down a little bit. That might have burst some eardrums there. Mic was all the way up. What's going on, everybody? It's a beautiful Thursday here in the nation, and we are live to chat with all of you. Got a little bit of a different live show for you all today. Going to be doing things a little bit different. We'll go over that right now. Ethan's Tech World, Michael, Kalafa, Jason, Manuel, Rory, James, Dennison, Anna's out there, DD23, Magnus, Manuel, Polo, Robert, Nevermore, Jose, Joe, the boys. What's going on, everybody? Mason becoming a member for the 24th month. That is the first 2-year membership that I have seen. Mason, appreciate your support. Oh, live stream for my B-Day. You shouldn't have. Mason, happy birthday to you. Mason, happy birthday, my man. And I knew that. I feel like I knew that your birthday is just a few days before mine because mine's next week. So, Dave C. from Mexico, what's going on? Hola, Dave. Kalafa also becoming a member for the 24th month. What is going on, Kalafa? Appreciate your support. Look at that. 24 months. Dividend Dad. Kyle is Swag Daddy. Yes. Woo. I love a good live stream, ladies and gentlemen. We got 75 people hanging out with us right now, but we've only got 22 likes. Hit the like button for me. If you've got a friend or a coworker out there as well that you're near right now, maybe you're working and you got a coworker that just sucks at fantasy football and they could really use your help. Send this over to them. Send the live stream and be like, this is the best you'll ever do. Ben gifting 5 memberships to the Headliner Nation community. Ben, appreciate your gifted member streak. This dude's been gifting memberships over and over and over. I don't even know what his streak is right now, but every live stream that we've done, either here or gaming, he shows up and he gifts a membership. Ben, appreciate you. Kyle, just casually mentioning his own birthday. We see what you did. Listen, you knew it had to have come up. You knew it had to have come up soon, but it's next week, so it's okay. You don't have to say happy birthday right now. And Manuel, Scott, Brian, Elijah, And Jay Cut getting those gifted memberships from Ben. Everyone throw a little hashtag Ben in the chat for those 5 gifted memberships. Jose becoming a member for the 24th month. 24 in the house. Killed the gym at work watching Headliner Nation. Much love and respect to everyone. Banger. What up, Jose? Appreciate your support, my man. Thank you so much. Polo Dude becoming a member for the 19th month. Throwing up those thumbs up. Polo, appreciates you. A live boneless wing challenge. We'll see. We'll see. Some calf raises, Chad. No calf raises today. No calf raises today. We've had a lot of baseball because I coach my son's team. We've had a lot of baseball over the last couple of weeks. Honestly, me running around all over the place with the kids, my legs have been a bit sore lately. So no calf raises today, but maybe in the near future. Dog's Breakfast becoming a member for the 15th month. Sup, Kyle. In a keeper league, full PPR can only keep 3. Ramondre, Breece, Etienne, and Amon-Ra. We keep players for 3 years max. What do I do? Preach. Dog's Breakfast. I feel like I'm going to go all running backs here. With Ramondre, Breece, and Etienne. I love me some Amon-Ra. I really do. The only way that I might change that is if for some reason we get to the start of the season and we find out Breece just is not doing well and it might take him a while. Then at that point, I might be like, maybe we do go with Amon-Ra. But me personally, as of right now, the way it currently stands, I'm going to keep all the running backs. Ben becoming a member for the 8th month. Oh, dang it. I hit 5 again. Love y'all. Love it here. Can't wait to start the season. And I'm on call. I wasn't called out yesterday, and so far no calls today. If I do get one now, I'm blaming it on you for going. No. You brought it up. You jinxed yourself. That is not my fault. You never bring that up. You're not supposed to say it out loud. Water Gummy becoming a member for the 18th month of Holden Chubb. Appreciate you, Water. Thanks so much for your support. Bases clearing triple to take the lead late in the game. Ethan, nice. What up, John? Dogs, you're absolutely welcome. So let's talk about what we're going to do for this live stream today. Again, we've got just over 70 people in here right now and only 39 likes. If you're watching, hit that like button for me right there. That little thumb, tap-a-roo. Just knock on that real quick for me. Hit the like button on the stream. Would really appreciate that. Today's stream is going to be about answering your questions and answering your comments. And what I wanted to do, because we have really put a kind of emphasis on trying to respond to even more comments than we typically do. One thing I wanted to do is I was like, I wonder if we look back through some of the comments of previous videos and we try to maybe go into a little bit of a deeper explanation for some of those comments, like in response to, well, this is why we said it, or this is why, and things of that nature. So I thought that would be kind of an interesting way to do a live stream. So we're going to go back through some comments that we've seen on some videos that we've posted recently, and I will kind of expand on maybe why I thought a certain way or what I was thinking when I said different things like that, or maybe maybe I didn't explain it well enough in the video and try to give you a little bit better of an explanation. Tommy becoming a member for the 19th month. Yo, Kyle, I have Ken Walker and Charbonnet in my Dynasty League. Should I trade Walker for Sanders in a 2024 first? I would not. I wouldn't do that. Unless you thought that 2024 first was going to be like a super high first, I wouldn't do it for Sanders in a 2024 first. I would need a much larger return there. Nevermore, are we making podcasts this season? We already did start a new podcast. It's called Discombobulated. It does have a little football baked into it, but it's a little bit different. We haven't done an episode in a few weeks, though, because we had the draft, and then we got back. Jake had to go back to Arizona for a week, so that kind of threw a wrench into it. Now we're into the draft guide, so we haven't posted an episode in a while, but if you just search Discombobulated on your favorite podcast platform or right here on YouTube, because we post the videos as well, Make sure you guys should check it out. Dog's Breakfast has already been checking it out. Buck's in the house. What's going on, Buck? Welcome in. Tommy, you got it. All right. So let's take a look here. Let's just let's go back through some comments. Let's go back through some comments here real quick. The comments that we're going to take a look at first are the No Way This Happened video that I did the other day. So if you missed this video the other day, what I did is I kind of went in depth on a few statistics that I've come across recently that was like, oh, hey, this is interesting. I cannot believe that this is an actual statistic. So let's kind of go back through this video here real quick and see if there's any comments here that bear me kind of going a little bit in depth to. Responses about Saquon definitely were ones. Revenge of the Pack, sheesh, not sure about Saquon. Not sure if he meant like not sure about my point or not sure about like drafting him this year. You know, in this video, I wasn't trying to basically say, hey, we're not drafting Saquon. I think it was just interesting to see that his tackles avoided last year were very, very low compared to guys like Nick Chubb and even Najee Harris, who had just as many carries or less in the case of Najee than what Saquon Barkley did. It was interesting to see that he's lost maybe a little bit of that explosiveness there. Steven Espinoza, if I can't get Travis Kelce, definitely going to get George Kittle. I think that's a great opportunity. And again, bringing up Travis Kelce and George Kittle in this video was not to convince you not to spend a first-round pick on Travis Kelce. But again, not everybody's going to get Travis Kelce in the first round. Oh, you need me to zoom in a little bit more? Yeah. Hold on. I can do that for you. Give me just a second. I just have to make sure that they still kind of like all fit. Here, hold on. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Does that help there? Hopefully you can see it a little bit better now. Oh, and I also guess see where it cuts off. Oh, it's basically at the top. Okay. Sean, we already knew that. So I don't know. I'm not for sure like how much research he had did on Kincaid or anything like that. When Kincaid was drafted, it was already said that more than likely he is going to play the slot. And we discussed that even after Kincaid was drafted, that Kincaid is going to be more Kyle Pitts than he will be Travis Kelce. So they are going to try and move Kincaid around to the outside, to the slot. He's not going to play a traditional tight end role, which Kelce still plays. Kelce still lines up with his hand in the ground. Kelce still lines up at your traditional tight end position. Now, does he go to the slot still? Yeah, they move him around and they do different things with him. But Kyle Pitts very rarely does. So they're trying to use in the backfield, probably not in the backfield. They're going to move him around. He's going to be more Kyle Pitts than he will be Travis Kelce. But the question is, again, these tight ends, when they come into the league, they don't just translate to weapons right away. So you have to be very, very careful. I understand people are excited about Kincaid, but you still have Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, definitely going to still be around, and he might be coming up in a later video. Gabe Davis is still going to be around. You still have, oh boy, Dawson Knox. Oh man, he escaped my mind for a second. Dawson Knox, you still have. Me personally, if you're in a redraft league, we are not drafting rookie tight ends. Don't draft Laporta. Don't draft Kincaid. Don't draft Michael Mayer. Don't draft any of them. Don't even worry about it. Okay? Could one of them end up happening and hitting this year? Absolutely. Anything is possible. But again, go back and look at rookie tight ends. Very rarely do they hit. Let's get back to some comments here. So Josh Bunch. Josh always around here. Michael Mayer is a deep tight end sleeper to me. Got him in a couple of underdog drafts. Hopefully it pays off. So again, kind of back to that same thing. Are you taking one of them as like a late round pick? Sure. Do not draft the rookie tight ends as your starter. Okay? Don't do that. You need to try and get some guys a little bit earlier. An Evan Ingram, take a shot on Hayden Hurst in Carolina if you want to. So, Juwan Johnson, Moreau, he's been out. Obviously, he went through, trying to go through his chemo and stuff like that. Did he end up giving chemo? I can't remember exactly everything that he went through. But he hasn't played in a while. So Juwan Johnson is still a guy for me. I'm not as nearly off of him as other people are. But I'm not chasing after rookie tight ends. If you want to take a shot at one late in an underdog draft in best ball, then absolutely feel more than welcome to. It's much easier to draft tight ends in best ball than it is to draft them for regular redraft. But I'm not betting on any rookie tight end finishing inside the top 15 this year. Let me see. Let me see here. When is the best time to join the YouTube membership? Always. Always is the best time. I'm trying to find some questions that were about... All right, so David King says, Barkley catches screens. He stays put in my book. But the problem was with that comment is that I wasn't talking about Barkley catching screens. I was talking about Barkley's running ability, okay? So if you saw the video, again, when I brought up Saquon Barkley, it was the fact that he only had, 44 avoided tackles last season. Hold on, I can go back in my notes. Actually, I have my notes right next to me. Let me double check here. He had 40 avoided tackles last season. Nick Chubb, in comparison, had 83 avoided tackles, and he only had 7 more attempts than what Saquon Barkley did. Najee Harris had 55 avoided tackles, 15 more than Saquon Barkley, and 23 less attempts. So Saquon Barkley catching screens doesn't really have anything to do with the point that I was bringing up. The point that I was bringing up about Saquon Barkley is the fact that last year when he got the ball on the ground, he didn't really do anything after he got hit. He wasn't as explosive and efficient as we have seen him be in the past. So was that just a byproduct of the offense last year? And now maybe that they've added a weapon that will change a little bit. Are people going to key on it a little bit more now and make Danny Dimes throw the football? Are they going to be like, okay, hey, we actually need to keep an eye on Danny Dimes this year running the football, and maybe that opens up a little bit more for Saquon Barkley. So in terms of upside, how much upside does Saquon Barkley have on the ground? Yes, he had 1,300 yards rushing last year. But what happens if for some reason he starts to lose just a little bit of volume because they're going to pass it a little bit more this year instead? Those are things to keep in mind. And again, it's not telling you guys, hey, don't draft Saquon Barkley or anything like that. It's just a reminder that on the ground, he lost some upside last year, which is not something that we would like to see. OEG becoming an official member again for the 22nd straight month. What up, Kyle, and what up, Nation? OEG, appreciate you coming in for the 22nd month. Lit Nick, bunch of legends in the chat. What's good? Love yins. Nick becoming a member for the 18th month. Nick, appreciate you. Bango becoming a member for the 8th month. Morning, everyone. Quick question. Who would be a budget running back 2 with good upside this year? A budget running back 2 with good upside. My video that comes out tonight, My video, I was looking at the camera talking to you guys, and I forgot that you can't see me right now because the comments are on the screen. My video that comes out tonight will actually talk about how running backs are getting pushed down the board right now and how you are going to get some fantastic value later on. Now, in terms of like just high upside RB2s, Aaron Jones is one that I absolutely love this year. I think he's a guy that you're going to get as an RB2 that could have a ton of upside this year. Dameon Pierce, I think, ended up making it out okay. He might be a guy that still kind of tried to invest in. I think Miles Sanders is going to be a good, could be a good RB2 that potentially could give you some upside. Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, Rashad White. Lots of guys are going to be going later on. Lots of guys. Any tips on starting a keeper league? We have been talking about how many to keep. Hold on, let me get a quick drink here. In terms of, like, are you taking a league last year and rolling it over to a keeper league? Y'all have to come to some kind of a consensus, but whoever is the commissioner of the league, stick to your guns. So open it up for feedback from everybody. If you're doing a keeper league, I would recommend not keeping more than maybe a quarter of your roster. Try to keep it to 3, 4, 5 guys max. Have people vote on that, and then at that point, kind of go from there. See what they think. All right. I know there is for sure... Okay, so Aaron Anderson said here, you aren't accounting for the fact that Saquon Barkley's division has 3 of the top 10 defensive lines in football. One of listen, these are some of the best comments to get. You aren't accounting for. You apparently haven't watched the video. Do you even watch this team? You didn't do your research. I can tell you're just... When people say that stuff, it absolutely cracks me up because I'm like, you know what? It's not like I don't do this for a living now. Of course I've done the research. Of course. I accounted for these things. You think I just throw together videos and just forget about stuff like that? Now, every once in a while, someone might bring up a point that I'm like, you know what? That's a good point, actually. That's not something that I had considered. But when you say something like you didn't account for, come on. Come on. And the response to it was great because, again, to finish the comment here, also this year the Giants have better skill positions outside compared to last year where teams would stack the box. But here's the thing. He still averaged over 4 yards per carry. So he wasn't getting hit at the line or before the line of scrimmage. He was going down easier after that. So while I understand the stacked boxes part of that and how maybe this year he won't see as many, normally when we look at stacked boxes, we see people getting absolutely smacked at the line of scrimmage because the offensive line is getting overwhelmed at the point of contact. So those stacked boxes is where that ends up coming into play. But Barkley still ran for over 4 yards a carry. So he's getting 4 to 5 yards past the line of scrimmage before he's getting brought down. And typically when you look at avoided tackles, you're looking at how many people do you make miss in space. Like, yeah, you're going to have some guys that maybe at the line of scrimmage make a couple of guys. But those would be like, if you're just looking solely is broken tackles. Avoided tackles could be broken tackles. And it could be like literally making people miss. Okay? So it's just one of those things where it's like, I get where you're coming from. But just take a second to think a little bit deeper about it. Bukowski becoming a member for the 19th month. Off-season content has been fantastic. Perfect amount of goods to keep us in the game. Can't wait for August. Buck, appreciate the support. Chris Brooks with the $2 dono in the super chat. What is your ceiling for Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson, ceiling-wise, are we talking about ceiling? Ceiling? Listen, ceiling, definitely probably wide receiver 7 or 8 in that area. Floor, maybe mid wide receiver 2. And again, a lot of it is just going to depend on how does he gel with Aaron Rodgers right away, and does Aaron Rodgers still have it? Was Aaron Rodgers kind of season last year because of his age, because he was kind of losing focus, because he didn't want to be in Green Bay, or was it because, again, 40-year-old quarterbacks typically aren't super great? So while I get the Garrett Wilson hype, and I like Garrett Wilson, I don't have a problem with him, I just want people to be cautious, because I've seen people have been like, oh, he could be like a top 5 wide receiver. I don't know if I go that high. Let me see if there's any other questions on this video. Devin Turner mentioned Jamal Williams is a big-time sleeper this year. Feels like everyone is forgetting who led the league in rushing touchdowns a season ago. I don't think anybody is forgetting that, and I wouldn't really say Jamal Williams is a sleeper. I would say where he's at right now is actually responsible drafting, because his ADP is at 125.8. So, yes, I'm surprised he's that low right now. But we also still don't know about Alvin Kamara. Okay? We still don't know about Alvin Kamara. They do still have, they did draft Kendre Miller. I like Kendre Miller. I think he is a guy that could end up being one of those seldom seen backs taken in later rounds that ends up contributing. So, with all that being said, I don't know if Jamal Williams is a sleeper this year and people are forgetting. I think people honestly are just drafting responsible when it comes to him. And in the video, I talked about how 14 of his 17 rushing touchdowns came within the 5-yard line. He had more rushing touchdowns within the 5-yard line than Derrick Henry or Austin Eckler had overall. Okay? So I think people are being responsible with it, knowing that the rushing touchdown regression could be very real with Jamal Williams this year. Rory Miller becoming a member for the 6th month. I'll rewatch what I missed later. I gotta go. Would you take Doomtar late in the first if you knew he wasn't going to make it to you in the second? Probably not. And that's just because when Jameson Williams comes back, Jameson Williams is going to be a big factor. So I wouldn't go in the first yet. I would like to get him more towards like the end of the second, early third if possible. That might not happen though. And I do think he's going to have a huge start to the year, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that all season long will retain those numbers. I think he's got some low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2 upside though. Bukowski gifting a membership to the Headliner Nation community. That went out to Zach Moyer. Zach, if you're in the chat, make sure you give Buck a thanks for that. All right. Let's, I'm going to change the screen back over. Let me go here to a different video. Let's go. One of the best videos to see comments on is we could go to rankings. Let's go to running back rankings. And let's see what goods we have in the running back rankings. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom to start. Instead of looking, because typically those comments come in pretty early on the rankings videos where they're like, wait a second. Chris Brooks with another $2 donation. Thanks, 2 more. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Christian Watson ceiling. Christian Watson ceiling for me is kind of going to be like a low-end wide receiver too. Going to be very up and down. Very up and down. He's going to have some big weeks, and I think he's going to have some very, very poor weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown to begin the year, while Jameson Williams, rich that drip. What was it that I came up with? Rip that drip. Hashtag rip that drip. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 wide receiver for me to begin the year. But that was before they drafted Gibbs. Gibbs is going to eat into that a little bit. I think Amon-Ra to begin the year is still going to be a guy that is in probably that 8 to 11 range, and then maybe come like a high wide receiver 2 when Jameson Williams comes back. Hey, Lit Nick, I need your help with something real quick. Sean Kennedy says, what do you think about Richardson? And I'm assuming he means Anthony Richardson. Hey, Lit Nick, could you do me a favor just super quick? Could you just let Sean know where you heard about Anthony Richardson and how long ago you heard about him? Sean, I did a film breakdown. So for those people who are members, I did a few film breakdowns of some of the top rookies coming out of the draft this year, to kind of give them a little bit of a kind of a deeper knowledge of some of these players. And Anthony Richardson was one that I did a film review on. At that time, I was like, this dude is a solidified first-round pick. He is going to go high in the first round. And then I told everyone, watch him ball out at the combine. And he had the greatest combine ever for a quarterback. And I told everybody he is going to be a top 5 pick. He went top 5 overall. I love Anthony Richardson. Absolutely love him. Heard about Rip That Drip months ago from Kyle. These legends know before the experts in quotation points. You guys are getting A-Rich at 1.03. And rookie drafts? And rookie drafts, he's my 1.01. Let me rephrase. In Superflex. I'll take him over Bijan in Superflex at 1.01 all day. Because he'll be worth more longer than what Bijan would. Now, if it's not Superflex, then it's Bijan at number 1 and then Anthony Richardson at number 2 for me. But I'll risk Anthony Richardson at 1.01 in a Superflex. Thomas, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was. Nicholas, yeah, Bijan, it's going to be kind of back and forth. Anthony Richardson and Superflex startups, or in Superflex rookie drafts for me, is my 1.01. Even ahead of Bijan. I think that right there tells you how much, because I love Bijan. It's not a knock against Bijan. I'll take the upside of Anthony Richardson at the quarterback position. Give it to me. Bijan Robinson is the RB2 right now. On Underdog. He is an early first round pick, or like early to mid first round pick, and he's the RB2. Holy crap. Let's get back to some comments here real quick. This was from my rankings video, my running back rankings video. So for those of you that maybe not had noticed yet this year, Jake and I have made a little bit of a switch. It told me I was listening to your other video. Oh, man, Thomas. Okay, all right. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that. We did have a lot of people hopping on us about James Robinson when we were like, this isn't going to hold up, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. Anyway, let me hop back over here. All right, Nick. Put together that gaming chair. Get locked in, baby. Supreme might be joining Rico and I for some ranked Warzone tonight. If not, you know you're next up, baby. I'll let you know. Let's jump into some of these comments here again real quick. So this Mark DeBruin dude, which, I mean, he leaves some ridiculous comments. I'm sure he's not watching right now. Bijan will be number 1 overall and Breece Hall top 5. Watch you guys to do the opposite so I can win championships. Mark, you got to listen to the video, man, because I have nothing against Breece Hall. The only reason I have Breece Hall, I think at 13 right now, is because I don't know how healthy he is yet. And if you want me to put together rankings, which are basically a projection of where I think people will land at the end of the season, if Breece Hall is limited for maybe the first 3-4 weeks of the season because he's not 100% healthy yet, and because they're throwing the ball a lot, to get Aaron Rodgers in tune with his wide receivers, and because you still have Michael Carter there, that is going to affect where he ends the rest of the season. I don't know how healthy he is yet. So he's got to be lower for me right now. If you told me, Kyle, I guarantee you that Breece Hall will be starting week 1 and will have a full workload and will not be hurt, then I would say he's absolutely inside the top 10 for me. Am I going top 5? Probably not, because again, they paid a lot for Aaron Rodgers to come to New York. They are going to throw the football more this year than they did last year. Okay? And you have to remember, too, running backs that deal with ACL tears, and this is a statistic that is thanks to the Dr. Ethan Turner, running backs that deal with ACL tears are more likely to have hamstring injuries the following season. Look at Saquon Barkley after he tore his ACL. He had hamstring issues after that. Dalvin Cook tore his ACL. He had hamstring issues after that. It's because the hamstring weakens after an ACL injury because you're not able to strengthen it and keep it to where it needs to be. Okay? So if Breece Hall comes out week 1 and he's just fine, but then maybe he ends up having some issues a few weeks into the season, now you got to be really careful of him being in and out of the lineup. And again, they still have Michael Carter, a very good running back. Okay, maybe not very good, a good running back, a serviceable running back. So if you were to say, hey, I don't want to lose Breece Hall for the entire season, we need to really be careful with him, maybe he doesn't get a full workload to start. Chris, I don't think I'm trading Breece Hall in a dynasty league unless I'm getting a huge haul in return. Okay. Speaking of 2023, that is where the issues become Bam Knight. So that's where the issue lies, is how healthy is he in 2023? And if you really want Bijan Robinson to be the number 1 overall running back, listen, I like Bijan. I understand that they used a very high draft pick on him, but they have also made it adamantly clear that Tyler Algier is still going to have a spot in this offense. And even if Bijan Robinson loses, let's say if Bijan Robinson only loses, and I think I need to put my face back on the screen just so I can really reinforce this. Let's say I tell you Bijan Robinson is going to lose 10 carries a game to Tyler Algier. That is still 10 less opportunities for Bijan Robinson to touch the football. Let's say 3 of those are carries in the 5, potentially carries at the goal line. Then that is 3 more opportunities that he has to lose a touchdown. And if you give Tyler Algier 10 carries a game, but you still run the ball almost darn near 50% of your plays, which is what they did a lot of the times last year, that's still 25 carries a game potentially for Bijan, and you add in. So giving Tyler Algier giving him carries isn't a bad thing. It doesn't necessarily make Bijan Robinson undraftable, but if you're giving him touches still, including some high leverage touches near the goal line, that could hold back his upside. So I'm more than welcome to put Bijan Robinson inside my top 7-8 running backs right now, because why not? He's going to get plenty of volume. But if he loses some high leverage touches, that kind of hurts the upside a little bit. Chris, no. I would not take Derrick Henry and a 24 first. Thomas, that is correct. We are seeing it more and more and more now. Bell cow running backs are not a thing. Christian McCaffrey might be one of the best running backs in all of football, and he loses touches to a 6th-round pick in Elijah Mitchell. If Elijah Mitchell's healthy. It's happened for years. It's been happening. There's been very few running backs where it's like, I can put this guy in and he's not going to lose any touches, right? Okay? The same is going to be true for Bijan Robinson. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just will cap his upside every once in a while. So Mark DeBruyne can just suck it. Everybody in the chat, just throw a little hashtag suck it out there for Mark. Matthias Scott. Ramondre top 5 surprises me. I understand that. And I feel a lot of people are a little weary about that right now. But the problem is, if anybody tells you that Ramondre Stevenson is not a top 5 running back, their only argument against that is, we've seen what the Patriots have done with their backfield in the past. Okay. Well, they have Pierre Strong and James Robinson. And it has even been brought up by some beat reporters that James Robinson may not even make the roster this year. I don't know if that's entirely accurate. But James Robinson is not better. Listen, there is nobody in the world except his parents that are bigger James Robinson truthers than I am. If you guys have been here for a hot minute, back when we still did content on Patreon before we moved everything over to YouTube, the year that James Robinson signed as an undrafted free agent with the Jacksonville Jags, I wrote an article on Patreon for our supporters that specifically said if they cut or trade Leonard Fournette, James Robinson is my pick to take over the backfield. Boom, baby. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. So anybody that wants to argue with me about James Robinson, I am sorry, but you're talking to the guy that literally called his breakout. And I didn't see anybody else calling it. So yeah, I'm going to toot my horn there for a second. So the James Robinson argument doesn't factor in this for me because I know he is a decent running back. But again, he suffered a significant injury a couple of years ago in an Achilles tear that is known to limit running backs. Mason remembers me saying that. He suffered a significant injury that limits running backs over the course of their career after it happens. Cam Akers finally had decent games last year at the end of the season. After he came back from his Achilles, for a year he didn't look anything like the same running back. James Robinson, the only reason that he had a good start to last season was because he had like 3 runs of like 50 or more yards. And literally, if you watch those runs, it's because there was nowhere near him. It was just a good play call and there was nobody around him when he burst through the hole. He's not the same running back. He's not as explosive as Ramondre Stevenson. Pierre Strong is not a complete running back like Ramondre Stevenson is. Okay? Stevenson is also a guy that I told you all about coming out of Oklahoma. I was like, watch for this guy. Okay? The only reason Ramondre Stevenson wasn't a higher pick than what he was because he had some issues in college with weed. He got busted before a bowl game and got suspended. Okay? So, if your argument against Ramondre Stevenson in the top 5 is just, I've seen how they use running backs in the past, this isn't the same Patriots team. This isn't a team that has a James White, that is just an absolute beast in the passing game. They don't have that this year. They don't have a Damian Harris to back him up. That's kind of like a, hey, boom, 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 boom. Okay? They don't have a guy that's just going to smash mouth the ball in short yardage situations. Jake is absolutely right. Jake is in the chat. Better play calling in New England this year as well. More TD opportunities than in the past. They don't have an absolute jerk off of a coach calling plays. Okay? Matt Patricia, who had a good defense in New England before he left for Detroit, but even then got shredded by better play callers on offense, gets the job in Detroit, runs that organization into the ground further than it already was. And the only reason he got the job is because the guy in the front office came from New England and wanted to try and build New England again. Okay? So then what does he do? He goes back to New England. He is a defensive coordinator, and they let him call plays last year. Bill Belichick might be one of the greatest coaches of all time, but that was one of the dumbest coaching decisions ever. Bill O'Brien is there now. Now, Bill O'Brien sucks as a GM. He doesn't know what he's doing, okay? But Bill O'Brien absolutely understands quarterbacks and growing quarterbacks, and he knows how to call plays. He's done it at Alabama. He's done it at Penn State. His offenses, while he was in Houston, still looked good. DeAndre Hopkins balled out with guys like Brock Osweiler, okay, before they got Deshaun Watson. So he knows what he's doing. That offense is going to be better this year. They've got Juju there now, okay? I believe in that offense. I believe in that offense. That's my Ramondre Stevenson tangent for today. But again, if your only argument against Ramondre Stevenson is I've seen what they've done with backfields in the past, that's not a valid argument. Do some research. Do some research. And the reason I'm saying that, though, is because Bill O'Brien still put them in positions to allow him the opportunity to ball out. In some instances, yes, I understand what you're saying there, but he was like literally the only weapon, and he was still decimating defenses. It's because he was helping put him in those situations with proper play calling. Okay? That's what I mean by that. Jeff Garcia becoming a member for the 24th month of Excessive Chubb. Jeff, appreciate you. Hey, hot tips. How do you see the rookie tight ends fitting in this year? Also, how about rookie receivers taken in the first? Rookie receivers taken in the first are not going to be in a great position for fantasy points this year. Okay? So that's a little bit of an issue. Tight ends, I'm not drafting rookie tight ends in redraft. I'm just staying away from them. I did touch on them a little bit ago. I mean, Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram are really the only rookie tight ends to ever do anything for fantasy purposes. Josh Bunt becoming a member for the 8th month of Full Chubb. Let's see those calves or calves. I don't spell good. No calves today. They're too sore. Lots of baseball recently. Ricky becoming a member for the 9th month. Love the content. Can't wait for final wide receiver rankings. I think Amon-Ra might have a lot of value. Can be the top 5 receiver when Jameson Williams is back. Might be top scorer. Waddle and Higgins will still be value. Ricky, I've cooled on Amon-Ra a little bit, and that's because Jahmyr Gibbs is going to absolutely get touches in that offense, and I'm excited to see what Johnson does with him. Ben Johnson. Ricky with the $2 donation as well. DJ Moore will be a top 12 wide receiver, I believe. It's spicy. It's spicy, but as a DJ Moore truther, I don't hate that. Can we get T-shirts? T-shirts for how Matt Patricia's just ruining organizations. And then he also brought up the comment about Nick Chubb. I do have Chubb lower this year, and it hurts. I'm not putting Chubb lower for the heck of it. I think if anything, that shows you that we have the ability to put our love of players aside when we do our research. Again, we love Nick Chubb. Nothing has changed about the fact that we think Nick Chubb may be one of, if not the most talented running back in all of football. But we also understand that they have invested a lot in Deshaun Watson, that they also brought in Elijah Moore this year. You still have David Njoku. You still have Amari Cooper. You still have Donovan Peoples-Jones. When Deshaun Watson came back last year, it was almost like they were trying to force the passing game because they had to say, hey, we gave him this money and fully guaranteed contract and traded everything for him. We've got to show it was the right move. And they drafted Cedric Tillman. So for that, it's just like, hey, we know he's going to be highly efficient. We know he's going to run for 100 yards a game. But again, if he runs for 100 yards a game, he's not going to lose you a week because he's going to get you double-digit fantasy points. But if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not going to win you a week. And how many touchdowns could he potentially lose because Deshaun Watson is throwing so much? That's where the question comes in. Can he get 12 to 15 touchdowns this season? If he does, and he runs for well over 1,000 yards, perfect. Then I will be wrong about him. But I'm putting him right where I think he will be if he gets 7 to 10 touchdowns and he runs for over 1,000 yards. Okay. So it's got nothing against Nick Chubb. All right. Let me see. I mean, R-Dog, Arrow Dog, something, whatever. Stevenson way too high. I just went in about him. How is he ahead of Jacobs and Barkley? Again, I mentioned it in the video. The upside for Stevenson, trees. Yeah, I mean, yes, it does. It does, but I just mentioned that a second ago, right? It could make his efficiency better, but it's not the running that's an issue, okay? It's the touchdowns. The touchdowns are the issue. If they get inside the red zone and Deshaun Watson is throwing 2-3 touchdowns a game, that's potentially taking those away from Nick Chubb. So the rushing ability is not the problem, as I just mentioned. We're not worried about him getting yards. We know that we can lock him in for right around 100 yards a game. But is he going to score a touchdown? Is he going to score 2 touchdowns? Scoring is going to be the key factor. And if they're really wanting to force the issue with Deshaun Watson, and they want to show we paid this guy all this guaranteed money, and we gave up these draft picks for him, my concern is that they push the envelope with the passing game. So that's the concern. Again, ahead of... no, Barkley has not signed yet. Yeah, he will get signed, I'm sure. Jacobs and Barkley. Jacobs has a new quarterback this year that doesn't throw the deep ball the way Derek Carr does. So you have to wonder if that kind of hurts his value a little bit. And then for Saquon Barkley, kind of already mentioned it, right? They have an improved passing game. Do they throw the ball a little bit more this season? And can he find a way to find a little bit more upside? Also, do they throw him the football a little bit more than what they have this past season? Okay. Regular Saturday live streams, I mean, those won't, like, be regular again until closer to the beginning of the season. Bullseye said the same thing. Hall and Pollard are much too low. We don't even know if they're going to be healthy week 1. Pollard being ranked as like the RB6 right now is insane to me. Yeah, I understand the opportunity is there, but can we calm down on a guy that had a significant injury last season? We don't even know if he's going to be healthy. You've got to be careful. Now, if they come back again and say he's going to be fully healthy week 1, then yeah, he'll get bumped up in my standings. But that's why you got to listen. Far too many people just turn the video on and then just look at the rankings and don't listen. Samaje Perine. Adoree Hines. One of our members. Again, for Samaje Perine, I don't have him ranked right now because we're still waiting on Javonte Williams. That's going to be the big thing. And it's also one of the reasons I don't have Javonte Williams ranked. Because I don't know. I had no idea what this meant. Not going to lie, this guy is on like every single rookie is going to be successful. It's amazing what Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, and J-Jets did for the rookie culture. I'm confused by this comment because Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are wide receivers, not running backs, and this is a running back video. And I have Bijan Robinson at 7, which is lower than the consensus. And I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 22, and his consensus is 24. Those are the only 2 rookies in my rankings. Do I think the running back situation in Miami should be avoided completely? As of right now, yes. Jeff Garcia brought up a good point asking if Chase Brown is going to be a threat to mix in. As of now, no. Not a huge threat. Because, again, these guys that are drafted a little bit later, I did a video on this earlier in the offseason. Running backs that are drafted in the 3rd through the 7th round, 4th through the 7th round, very rarely, about 90% of the time, do not become fantasy viable. But we'll see. Jonathan said here, Swift and Penny will be top 20. I left them both out. We know they're both going to miss games. And now that Rashad Penny is not kind of the guy and DeAndre Swift is going to get a lot of that work, he doesn't have nearly the same upside for me. Darth Desmond with the $2 dono. Bought Rachaad White with the 110. Did I overpay? As of right now, no. It depends on what Rachaad White does this season, though. As of now, no. Texas Roof Doctor brought up about David Montgomery should not be ranked so low. The Lions have a great offense and should still get a lot of work. I can remember all the rookie running backs that people just love that flopped. I also think that the suspension of Jamal Williams may nudge the Lions to incorporate their running backs a little more in the passing game. He has them ranked higher than Sanders, White, and any Washington running back. My response, they just spent the 12th overall pick on Gibbs after trying to trade for Debo all season. Does anybody remember early in the offseason when Debo Samuel was the topic of trade talks? And there was conversations about also his contract and not wanting to be utilized as a running back last year, like he was 2 years ago. And remember when this is now basically 2 straight off seasons where we have heard Debo Samuel could potentially be traded. Well, earlier in the offseason, it was reported that the Lions offered a 1st and a 3rd round draft pick for Debo Samuel. A 1st and a 3rd round pick for Debo Samuel. And then they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a little smaller than Debo Samuel, but he is Debo Samuel. If Deebo Samuel was a running back coming out, he would have been Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs is explosive. He runs hard. He plays bigger than what he is. He had the best hands of any running back in the draft. He was a lot closer to Bijan Robinson than what people wanted to give him credit for. Do I think the Lions reached at 12 overall? Yes, I do. Do I think they could have gotten him later in the draft? In the first round? Yes, I do. But I also believe in what they are doing there. And the Lions have basically said, F this. We're going to take the guys that we want to make sure that we get them. Which is funny because fantasy analysts on Twitter will bash the Lions for going and getting their guy in the draft, but then will preach to their followers, it doesn't matter what round you draft someone in. If you want them and you have that grade on them, you take them. It's the same thing, but in real life, guys. It's the same thing. They're going to utilize Jahmyr Gibbs this year. And it's going to be a lot. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. He's going to run over people. Jahmyr Gibbs. In redraft leagues, I'm keeping him as a low-end RB2 for right now. I'm not going much higher than that. The lights on my TV are on, and they change colors when I talk, and I didn't realize that for the gaming stream. There we go. Now they're off. So, yeah. I need to turn the AC down in here. It's getting hot. So, yeah. Oh, Jesus, Nick. Get out of here. God. Nick's been banned. Anna, can you time out Nick, please? For suggestive themes in our PG chat. All right, let's take a look for a few more here real quick, and then we'll move on to something else. Someone was like, did Atlanta even have 4 touchdowns last year? LOL, this guy was a joke. They had 17 rushing touchdowns last year. And then someone responded with, is 17 more than 4 asking for a friend? Oh, man. Hey, football, and that's just a great comment there. That's just a great comment there. Why don't you meet me at that gym and you can say it to my face, and then we'll see how far I've let myself go. Let me see. Someone said the worst list. I said it could be worse. Trust me, I still believe that. Another guy way too low on Kenneth Walker. I mean, Zach Charbonnet is a good football player. Zach Charbonnet is a good football player. He is going to take touches from Kenneth Walker. It's not constructive criticism if you just say hit the gym, you're letting yourself go. That's not constructive criticism, footballing. That's you just being an ass. But that's okay. Some people are like that. You clearly are. Tank Bigsby stealing carries from Travis Etienne. I don't think it's going to be as much as people think it's going to be. I definitely see him getting some of those touches. But not as much as you would think. People sleeping on James Conner, it's because they have a piss-poor offense, and what's the quarterback position going to look like to start the year with no Kyler Murray? I mean, that's essentially it. I'm not putting James Conner inside the top whatever right now, and you have to add in the fact that he continues to have injury issues, right? People saying that the Bengals added Chase Brown in the draft. Yes, I realize that. But again, running backs taken in the 4th round or later typically don't work out. What up, Nate? G-Money. Addison, I definitely think Jordan Addison could have a productive season. But I think I'm kind of waiting on what happens with Dalvin Cook right now. I think like there's a couple more. Damian Harris over James Cook. I don't hate it. Shadowban is here. Somebody said a little bit lower on being Pacheco. He should be. So Isaiah Pacheco, I mentioned Isaiah Pacheco a couple of times in the waiver wire videos last year before he popped up. And for Pacheco, it's one of those things where he's going to give you just enough, but he's not going to win you a bunch of leagues. He might have a safe floor every single week, but it's not going to be that high. They're going to be a pass-heavy offense still. And we know that they've got Jerick McKinnon there still, who they absolutely loved at the end of last season. So is there room for Pacheco? Absolutely. But I want Pacheco as like my RB4 that I can throw into the flex on a week that I might need it, or if I need him to take over for buys or something like that. I don't want to be reliant on him. So Rusted Biscuits, he brings up James Conner in a little bit of a better light instead of just saying, you're too low on James. He goes, no James Conner. He had an injury-prone season last year, but when he came back healthy, even without Kyler, is a 20-point running back against top 5 defenses as well. So he brings at least a little bit of feedback there, which I like. I like when I see comments where people use statistics. And then my response was basically what I've just said. The offense could even be worse. There's still potential that they trade Hopkins. We don't know when Zach Ertz will be back. We don't know about the quarterback position. Connor has issues with injuries. He says that he might take him like in round 7 or higher. And then I respond with, well, that's fine. I didn't have him in my top 25 running backs, but you still draft him as your RB3. There's no issues. No issues with that. Mr. Real Boy. Again, James Robinson gets cut. Yo, what kind of drugs you smoking? Listen, calm down. Calm down. Okay, so first off, in the comments of this video, the live stream right now, let me know what you thought about this style of live show. Is this something that you want me to maybe do a little bit more moving forward during the day, during the week? Go over, again, random comments that people have left that maybe I can give you a little bit more on, talk about a little bit more, things like that. Let me know in the comments if you appreciate this type of content. And then let me also ask you this. Is there any type of content that you're wishing that people would do, but nobody does right now? Is there any type of content that you're like, I would love it if a channel were to do content on this for fantasy football, and you know what? It might as well be the headliners. Content that you don't see other people doing right now. Nick, I don't even see a question from you. The Nick Flair becoming a member for the 8th month. What's up, Daddy? I'm not your daddy. Was wondering if you plan on doing any Dynasty videos soon. Just did a couple of Dynasty videos a couple weeks ago, right after the draft. Yes, there will be some more Dynasty videos coming, though. Don't you worry. Is it going to be a members-only deal? This type of live stream won't be a members-only deal, no. Went back and looked at our rankings at this time last year. Potentially. You know that we love to go back and look at what we've done in the past for sure. So that could be something that we put on the docket. Adam Thielen or DJ Chark is wide receiver 4 or 5 since Carolina doesn't have anyone better. I'd probably go with Adam Thielen to begin with. Don't forget that Terrace Marshall Jr. is still there, though. AI draft a redraft team. Maybe. Chad, we are 100% diving in. We've already started player profiles for the draft guide. I think the offensive line rankings are submitted already. And, of course, those things will upgrade. Trees, Jonathan Mingo, I brought him up in my video a couple weeks ago. Don Queese, I probably take Jameson Williams over Jahan Dotson right now. Trying not to let my Lion fandom be in the way at that point. But we know a little bit more about what we get with Jared Goff than what we get with Sam Howell, right? What position am I selecting in the first round? Lil Spark, check out my video for that's coming out tonight. I have a video coming out tonight talking about current ADP. Check that out. Polo, if they're here, they're more than welcome to. If they're here and I bring up their comment, they're more than welcome to respond. Zachary, if he's healthy, second round is going to be where he goes. Nicholas, you're keeping White in the 12th based on those choices right there. Comparisons between PPR half and full. Potentially. So, Bango, we do everything in half PPR on the channel. Just because so many people play in so many different leagues, we want to make sure that we're talking about like a good middle ground for them. I don't want to alienate the standard leagues because we do everything in PPR, which a lot of people do. And I don't want to alienate the PPR crowd because we do things in standard. So I think, but like with the draft guide, like we put out like standard, half, and full rankings in it. Any funny stories on y'all from the draft? We laughed a lot. I mean, there was making fun of Ethan because he was drinking the soda called Skeet Skeet in the morning. Apparently, it's like an Illinois thing. Every morning, he'd wake up, he would drink two cans of Skeet Skeet, and then he'd have Nutter Butters for breakfast. We made fun of me for like constantly saying, "What are we doing for content next?" We made fun of Mac because anytime a girl passed, Mac was keeping his eye out. Mac was on the hunt. Man, I'm trying to think what else. We went to a Dick's Sporting Goods, and I don't know why, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had the windows down, and we were just chanting, Dick's, 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 as we were driving. I don't know why. We decided to chant. We did. We met some funny people at the draft. I had one fan. This was an awesome story. This was really, really cool that it happened. I don't know if he's even watching right now, but a few of our subscribers showed up. So if you guys watch the gaming channel at all, a guy named Bean Supreme, he's been kind of like, I play Warzone with him all the time. And like I played with him and his family, his brothers, his dad. I play Warzone with them all the time. And they came to the draft. So I got to meet him and Tucker and Lee and Papa Parsons, as I call him. So I got to meet all of them in person for the first time. And I was standing there talking with Josh about something. And Josh is... T-Mac. But I was talking with Josh, and I was facing this way, like towards the camera. Josh was the camera looking at me, and he had on a Steelers jersey because he's a Steelers fan. Well, this guy had walked like behind me towards Josh. He was like, "Hey, Steelers, that's my team too." And he also had a Steelers jersey on, so he was like this, kind of gave him like a knuckle, and he was like, "Who do you have on your jersey?" Because he had like a Pro Bowl jersey on, so he's like, "Who do you have?" So the guy that came from behind me walked past me, then walked past Josh and turned around and faced towards me to read the back of Josh's jersey. And he reads Josh's jersey, looks up and makes like legit eye contact with me. And his eyes just get really wide and he goes, "Holy shit, you're Kyle." I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I love you guys." And he came over and he gave me a hug. He was like, "Dude, headliners are the best." I mean, it was awesome. We stood there and we talked for probably 20 minutes or so. And he showed me like all of his notes that he keeps on draft prospects and was asking me questions. And we talked about just like being a content creator, and you know, he was telling me how much he appreciated. He walked away at one point and he came back. He's like, "Can I get a picture real quick? I don't want to be weird." I was like, "No, get in here." So we took a picture together. But no, that's just that was awesome. That was awesome. So, and we probably saw like 15 or so people that were like headliners. Like, "You're the YouTube guys." Like we saw quite a bit of people that were like, "Hey, what's going on?" And like they would come up and they'd shake our hands and talk to us. And you could tell they were kind of like, "We know you're working, so we don't really want to bother you, but we want to say hi." And like the same thing that we tell everybody, like if you were to see us at something like that, come say hello. Absolutely do it. What up, Bam? I'm becoming a member for the 16th month. What's up? Just now getting on. How long are you going to be live? I'm going to have to get off soon because I got to go pick up my daughter from school. So I'll have to get off here shortly. But I'll be live for a few more minutes. But that's just, it's you know, it's just really cool. It's really cool to do that. And I know, like, I'm not like a celebrity by any means, but you know, I want people to know. I'm not getting noticed out in public every single day, and that's never going to happen. But the bigger we get, and if we continue to go to drafts or Super Bowls or whatever, or combines, I mean, people are gonna recognize us more than likely, and I always want them to be able to say, "Hey, I want to come up and say something." Now, if we're legit like in the middle of filming, don't run up behind the screen and like scream or go crazy or do profanities. Like, don't do that. But like, if you see us and we're filming, just like wait for us to finish up and then come over and be like, "What's up, guys? What's going on?" So yeah, absolutely, people should feel more than welcome to approach us. If they were to see us at anything like that, come up and say, "What's up?" Shake our hand, give us a knuckle. Yeah. I'm going to pick you up when I see you. And if I had time, I would start playing over a random speaker. Nick, I double dog dare you. As our friend earlier told me how fat I am now, hopefully I lose some weight before then, so I'm easier for you to pick up. John, I'm a celebrity in your house? Awesome. Are we getting invited over for dinner, though? That's the question. Don't ever knuckle someone twice. Then third time's a charm, right? Tim, we would love to do something in Vegas, and the Super Bowl is absolutely on our radar for this year. No guarantees. No guarantees. But there is potential that the headliners will be in Vegas to cover the Super Bowl this year. Potential. Again, no guarantees, potential. Nick, come on. Just don't do that, Nick. Oh, man. Okay, John, I'm invited to your house for dinner. What are you making, though? That's the question. That is going to be the $1 million question there, is what are you making? Because we'll have a good time no matter what. But am I going to leave feeling good? The best thing about Kansas City was the barbecue, though. We ate a lot of good food in Kansas City. If I had to redo it, I would have said, can we do more barbecue spots? But that's okay. Barbecue chicken from the backyard, I'm down. That sounds good to me. Perfect. But yeah, good live stream, I think. Any other questions? Litnick, the barbecue spot we went to was called Mitch's? What Jake, what was it? Mitch's Market? What was it called again? It was Mitch's something. Zachary, Jalen Hurts over Burrow, that rushing upside. Meet Mitch. We went to Meet Mitch. Jelani, Calvin Ridley could take a little bit of time to get his feet underneath him, but one-on-one coverage on the outside because people are paying attention to everyone else definitely could lead to some bigger games for him, maybe at the midpoint or second half of the season. Might be a little slow to start, but I think he'll be fine by the end of the year. Definitely potential top 24 option. I think him and Kirk could both fall into the top 24. I've never been to Vegas, so I got to do that. Polo, I don't know what that means. Lumpia, Captain? Randall, I will have Justin Jefferson as my 1.01 this year. But if you draft CMC, there's no issues with that. Calvin Ridley in round 3 or 4. I think you can get him later on Underdog right now. Let me see here. I don't know what that is, but Nicholas obviously knows what it is. Oh, a Filipino egg roll. Listen, I'll smash that. Let me try that for sure. Wide receivers. Calvin Ridley has an ADP of 35 right now. That's actually a little higher than I thought, to be honest. Guys going behind him, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, Michael Pittman. Tyquan Thornton, I think he's still going to be used in kind of a hybrid role where he's moved all over the place. So I think he's going to have some bigger games, but he's not like a consistency guy. Definitely would like a best ball shot. Best ball ownership I don't think would be that bad. Kenny Pickett has opportunity. I mean, he has potential. I'm still not the biggest Kenny Pickett fan in the world. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback ever, but he's got the running game. He's got the weapons. They upgraded the offensive line. They added Darnell Washington, who is a great blocker. Pat Freiermuth can block. So I mean, I don't hate Kenny Pickett. I just don't think he is as good as some people make him out to be. Hawkinson was in for a bigger year before Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison knocks into that a little bit, but I still have him as a top 5 tight end for sure. The best backup quarterback to roster this year, whoever the San Francisco backup is, whether it be Purdy or Lance. I don't think Zeke Elliott signs anywhere where he's a starter, unless he were to go to Miami. I don't think Zeke's a starter, though, this year. Zeke's starter days are probably done at this point, if I had to guess. But honestly, that shouldn't be that big of a deal for him. He should realize, hey, if I start taking some less hits, I'll have a little bit longer in this game. But not everyone thinks like that, and I understand why. I don't think Sam Darnold will be a sleeper. I think the Sam Darnold starting is a little overreactive. It's going to be Lance or Purdy. Unless Lance and Purdy are both still injured and not healthy, that is the only way Sam Darnold starts. Sean, hate to break it to you, but DeAndre Swift is not in Detroit anymore. He was traded to Philadelphia because they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Olave breakout year? What type of breakout? Like top 5 breakout? Probably not. I would say what he did last year was breakout-ish. 1,000 yards. 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's realistic. Yep, I still like Rachaad White as an RB3 option. Dalvin's going to be interesting. I definitely think he would be like a Miami guy too. I know someone mentioned like Chicago potentially. Even with Herbert and Roschon Johnson, they could be like, oh, let's get Dalvin and put it to Minnesota. We'll have to wait and see. Cleveland backup, I don't see it in Cleveland. I don't think he would go to back up Nick Chubb. I think he would have better options elsewhere. They are still recovering right now, yes, but we're still a few months away from the season, so anything could happen. So that's why he's taking first team reps right now. We still got a couple of months to see how things play off for the rest of May, June, July, and then obviously August. I have Nick Chubb as an RB1 still at RB12. Tyler Algier, from a fantasy perspective, no. James Cook is worth a late round stash still. Yes. Tyler Algier is not good for Bijan Robinson owners, but he doesn't have standalone fantasy value. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:30. Been live for about an hour and a half now. Actually, just over an hour and a half, I think. 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 37 seconds. So almost an hour and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and hop out of here. I got to go pick up my daughter from school, so I'm going to go do that. There is a video that is dropping tonight, so make sure you check that out tonight. If you haven't hit the like button yet, hit the like button for me. If you're watching right now and you've never subscribed, I would recommend that you do subscribe. And if you're watching this video after it's been posted, make sure you leave comments down below and let me know what you think about the content and if you appreciate this type of live stream, so we can start doing it more often. But I'm going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Thanks for the gifted subs. Thanks for everybody that re-upped today. Appreciate y'all very much. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Let us know if there's any content that you want the rest of the offseason, and I'll catch y'all in the next live show. Later, everybody.
On the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and not